And there's no waiting room. So you don't have to let anyone. And then it's on, it's recording.
That's it.
All right.
Hello,
Welcome.
hello, Veronica.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Alan Juba again from MKW. I just checked in with my coworker who is on, but he's getting a message saying he's waiting for the meeting to start. Maybe you just started it now?
Hey,
So it's been on.
Here he is. Here he is.
I
Okay.
was able to
My-
join.
My apologies.
Yeah, the link is active, it's open, the room is open, and so we're gonna get started.
Wonderful.
Awesome. All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm gonna call our September Landmarks Preservation and Parks Committee meeting to order. We have quorum. So our meeting is beginning. Yeah, welcome. So there is a motion to adopt, I ask for a motion to adopt the agenda. Beautiful. Can I get a second?
June 2025 minutes.
We've got a second. We're gonna hold off on the June minutes, and I'll share why.
Okay, so
We had some delays with getting materials out, and I'm of the spirit in mind that we want to give committee members proper time to go through the materials, and so we're gonna table it for our next month's meeting, but that'll give you some extra time to see how we ended last year, get familiar with some of the dynamics of the meeting, and then we'll do a proper adopting of the minutes next month. All right. Beautiful. So really our first new business is welcoming our new members. We did adopt. I got a first from
I
Ms.
I heard
Caldwell.
minutes, but I didn't hear the agenda.
Yeah, and we got a second from Alex. All right, so we got those. And so our new business is really welcoming what makes up this committee now. We've got 9 members in total, 5 new members joining us this year, a new co-chair. Our senior co-chair is not with us this evening, and we're really grateful for her expertise and her guidance. But really, everyone plays a really important role in making this committee work and function. I will say that it's a committee that has lots of community partners who attend. Typically, we have about 10 representatives from the various parks, city agencies, and even last year within those positions, there was lots of dynamics and changes, whether people moved on for retirement or promotions. So I think it's great to start each season really getting to know who are the people doing the work. I also like to mention that this is a volunteer, role and appreciate everyone's time and talents. So wanted to give our new members a chance to just introduce themselves and also just make some announcements of ways that we can support you as you onboard. One is to make sure we've got the right email, correct spelling of your name, just all of those housekeeping tasks so that we can communicate easily. And we've also shared in the last week or so lots of resources to help you get acquainted with the work of parks and landmarks preservation in MCB9. I'll be talking a little bit about what those are after we get the introductions going. But wanted to open the floor just to welcome all of our returning members and new members, give everyone a chance to maybe say your name, what status you are, new or returning, and maybe one thing you are excited about with this year's work. Yeah. And forgive me, I work in the school system, so I've got that icebreaker warm up piece, going. I think it's really important to kind of get the vibe going. Yeah. So who wants to kick off? I guess I will. My name is Veronica Savage, new co-chair to Landmarks Preservation and Parks Committee. I served last year as a general member. And I am really excited to tap into all of our unique sort of talents, like just figuring out what angle of this work we all are excited about and to leverage that. Yeah, and mine is community gardens, all things community gardens. Yeah, anyone else want to add their voice to the room?
My name is Andrea Becker, I'm a new member. Who live in Morningside Gardens. I've been very active with Morningside Heights Community Coalition for a number of years. And one of the reasons, I was interested in community board was that because to me, like where Morningside Gardens is, it really abuts South Harlem. And I'm just more interested, I have always been interested in the neighborhood north of where I live. And this is an opportunity for me to get more information and participate in that.
I can go. How's everybody doing? I hope you all had a great summer. It's nice to see you again. Marquise. I live on 111, so in historic Morningside Heights district and everything. So I partnered up with Friends of Morningside Park. I work a lot with the West Side 111 Community Association. I'm really big on parks, just kind of everything that happens. I like to call myself sort of a cultural historian, just a person that really knows what's happening inside our neighborhood. So I was really adamant about joining this committee. I'm really big on just pertaining like keeping history of what we have kind of there, but also still going, but making sure that we look to the past and kind of like, so really happy to join it.
Alexander Abraham, remember? Alexander Abraham. Really used to be with everybody. Parks is certainly a point of interest to me, as are landmarks that are important to the community. I've got the one of my super ambitious goals is to find out whether we could retrieve Studebaker someday from the university. I don't see an avenue just yet, but never say never. And as the father of a toddler, I'm also interested in really availing our community's children to as many parks and playgrounds as possible to give them the outlet to go out, play, have fun, get to know each other too, and establish a sense of community at the same time. Just be
What area are you from?
quite just a lot.
Else we have.
My name is Matthew Tate. I'm a new member, a venture capitalist, but a Harlem night, born and raised, and I have a deep passion for my community, Harlem, and community gardens. I have a foundation that I have vested into doing some great things with our gardens in Harlem for the rest of my lifetime and beyond. So I want to get for sure more involved to see that resource is for all of us. And right now it feels like it's not. So
It's to John Belford. I'm a new member. And what am I excited about? Learning more about the hospital school and what we can do, how we can help some communities. I think it's great that we have so many dance parks. These are side of our movie, so we do that. That's what it is. And it's not awesome.
Where do you think, what area are you from?
I live on 150 in Rochester.
Welcome. Our returning members then, I guess, right?
Actually, I just saw the list. I didn't talk to you because I'm not in this community anymore, but my name is April Adams. I'm co-chair of Uniform Services and Transportation now. And I love parks because I'm in St. Nicholas Park literally every day. And I have a very big passion for it. And all the work that the Parks Department does in the cities.
And you, Christina? So this is another new member. We're just doing quick introductions. We'll let you catch your breath, hear from a returning member, and then you can chime in.
For me, my name is Patricia Ball Brown. I've been in this committee, this is my 4th year. In this committee, and I'm clergy. Northern Avenue Baptist Church. Also an advocate for the Sugar Hill community, in which the church is located, and where I live. So I'm an advocate for upholding um, the poverty of the neighborhood and keeping it a historic landmark shape.
Amy, you wanna go?
Sure, so
Just a quick name, you're a new member, a new member, and part of the work that you're excited to get into this year.
So Christina Maria Lopez, born and raised here in Morningside Heights. I currently work for New York Roadrunners, so we use parks for a lot of our events. When I started working there, I started running myself, and eventually I became a co-captain of Harlem Run. We meet over at Marcus Garvey Park. I'll also be supporting the Arts and Culture Committee, so part of my other background is in the arts, and it was really interesting for me this summer to experience all the arts we have in the parks.
So Maria brings up a great point of like interdisciplinary issues and passions. And so I encourage you to think about what you can take from this committee and bring to your other committees and vice versa. I'm on the Youth and Education and Libraries Committee and often figure out how to share resources. I want to acknowledge in the room, we also have our chair, Victor Edwards, supporting us tonight.
Good evening, all. It's my 12th year on the board. My third year as chair, I believe, or as track. I'm an advocate for parks. I live across the street from Riverside Park, so I'm constantly either walking, ride my bike, play basketball, tennis at Riverbank as well. So parks are important. I often tell people the parks in New York City for a lot of us, it's our Hamptons, it's our Martha's Vineyard. It's where we can go to relax and get away. And we have so much green space. A lot of other cities that are this large don't have the green space that we have. So parks are important to keep up. So, and also the other parts of this community is preservation. We have a lot of historic landmarks in the area, buildings that we try to maintain, and this committee is part of doing that. So best of luck. I'm right here for you.
We've got Monique Carden-Cordero, one of our vice co-chairs, supporting us as well.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, first vice chair. And yes, I agree with Victor. We're very lucky as a community board to have so many parks within our area. And I too try to take advantage. I live near St. Nicholas Park and also go a lot to Riverbank State Park. And I was just hanging out there the other weekend, taking advantage of the house music on the Hudson. It was wonderful. So we are very lucky to have such green space in this community, and I'm here as well to be supportive. You might not see me here all the time, but know that my heart is here, even if I'm not physically here. So it's a pleasure to be here and support you and the rest of your team.
Thank you. So before we get into presentations, I just wanted to acknowledge just our community partners who are on. Typically, we start out with announcements from our community partners, and this year we're trying to do sort of a flip, and it was really important to start out with just introducing ourselves to each other as a committee, getting to know who the committee members are. And then we're gonna center presentations this year. We're gonna give that a shot, just so that we have a fresh sort of bandwidth when we're taking in that information, and then save our announcements and updates from our community partners afterwards. So if you're wondering why we haven't started out with updates, that's something that we're trying this year, just to give sort of a new kind of energy to the space. I'll end with some tools for our both new and returning members that would be helpful, and some of them were shared by our senior co-chair. I shared some as well, but one of them is the Vital Parks Explorer, and essentially it's an interactive mapping tool that helps New Yorkers see how well their neighborhoods are served by park amenities and services like playgrounds and dog runs and community gardens, and recently upgraded parks. It really gives you sort of all that information at the touch of a finger. So that's an online tool for us as committee members to just sort of play around with, visit often. And Heather, I think, sent the link out to that. So between, this meeting and our next one, I encourage you to visit it and see what information it's able to offer you. The other one was a tool that I mentioned, which was called Open Data. And that's a New York City data pool. It pulls this data from all the different city agencies, and you can sort of manipulate what kind of data sets you want to leverage. But again, another valuable tool. And then the Parks has a capital project tracker. Again, gives you an up-to-date account of like what projects have been approved, which ones are pending, and which ones are completed. So that's another really useful tool. And I'll send these three out maybe with our minutes, just so that you have them all in one place. But those are tools that both help committee members and our community partners to stay informed and up to date on the work that's happening. All right. All right, so I think we're going to go ahead, for the sake of time, move into our presentations. We have Steve Simon from the Chief of Staff of New York City Parks, who's going to introduce the presentation. Steve?
Yes, thank you, Heather and Veronica. Good to see Victor. Let me just start by saying that it's not easy to hear the people who are sitting there in the audience. So I would just when they get a chance to speak or ask questions, if they could make sure they speak up and maybe speak a little slowly for us who are out here in the wherever we are in the.
Well, I'll share with you, your audio is just fine. We can hear you really well.
Okay, well, let me just say thank you very much for giving us time. We bring every one of our capital projects before the community board for review. And we do that not just because we like to do it, because we understand the role that you play, but frankly, it's also a mandate of the city charter. So we're fulfilling that charter mandate. So we're pleased to be able to present to you tonight the plan for the reconstruction of the 136th Street stairs in St. Nicholas Park. It's a very important passageway between Hamilton Heights City College and Central Harlem, in the middle of a very important park, one of our historic Harlem parks. We were able to obtain the $3 million for this project from the mayor as part of his Central Harlem rat mitigation program. And so we're certainly we normally don't get, it's not easy for us to get money to do infrastructure projects such as this one. They're not fancy. They're not people don't like to do give us money for staircases. Fortunately, in this case, the mayor chose to do so. So I'm joined by some of my Parks Department colleagues, Nick Greffenstedt and Michael Merrick from our Capital Division. I'm sure you'll hear from him later, our Regional Park Manager, Matt Genrich. And the presentation will be given by a consultant that we hired especially for this project, Alan Juba from MKW and Associates. And I believe I can say he's an award-winning architect. We've used him before, and he's done excellent work for us. He's also joined by one of his colleagues, whom I think he'll introduce, because I'm not going to introduce that person because I would mangle that person's name. So let me just say that I'm very happy that Alan is on board and is working with us once again, and I'm sure you're going to appreciate the presentation that he gives you. So with that, can I turn? I'll turn it over to Alan.
Very good. Thank you so much, Steve, for that introduction. I really appreciate it. And I'm just wanting to make sure everyone's able to hear me well.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So again, thank you for that introduction, and thank you very much for the warm welcome from Community Board number 9.
I
And
will encourage everyone to be on mute, just so that we minimize the background noise.
very good. Thanks for that comment, Veronica. My name again is Alan Juba. I am president and principal in charge of MKW and Associates. We are a landscape architectural firm doing business for the past 61 years. We've been working with the New York City Parks Department on various projects for the past 30 plus years, I would say. I've really, really lost count. And the colleague who is with me tonight, who helped prepare the presentation that you'll see this evening, is Untek Yoon, and he is a junior landscape architect at MKW and Associates. So with no further ado, I'm not sure who has the presentation to bring up. Is that at the community board, or does City Parks have that? Or Untek, are you able to do that?
Yeah, can we give him can we give him shares? Can he share the screen?
Yep, we can go ahead and do that. I'm gonna need you, April.
Isn't that about it?
Should be, oh, might be in the more section. See right there.
Oh, yeah, there you go, to the top, yeah, that green button, yeah,
Shit.
and then, oh wait, where's share screen option?
Oh, hosting.
Are you hosting?
Yeah, or you host, cause then you can make them
She's gonna,
co-host.
she's gonna share the host.
Oh, wait, no, you are
I
hosting,
am
wait, who's
That sounds.
trying to share?
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect. So
Who's trying to share though?
Is it Untech Jude?
Check.
So make
Alan
comments.
Juba.
So thank you.
Yeah.
There you go,
Thank you.
yeah.
Can't leave us yet. All right, you should be all set, Untech. There we go.
That's great. Is everyone able to see that?
Yes, we can.
Very good. Okay, let's get started in full throttle then. We're looking at the 136th Street staircase in St. Nicholas Park. As Steve mentioned, this has a $3 million budget that we're taking a look at. And moving to the next slide. We always like to start out by establishing goals for any project that we're working with, especially New York City parks. First of all, we like to provide a restored staircase which complies with all current codes. We're looking to enhance the safety of the staircase by replacing or resetting stone treads, addressing sunken and open areas, adding handrails, and adding lighting. We will show some photos to you in a few minutes in case you're not familiar with some of the conditions of the stairs to see what we're actually looking to do here. We do understand that this is a New York City Parks legacy park, so whatever design interventions we do will be respectful of that. And we'd also like to eliminate rat harborage in these stairs as well. And you'll see what I mean again when we take a look at the photos of the existing conditions there. Next slide. Just so everyone knows where we are in the upper part of the borough of Manhattan in St. Nicholas Park. And on the image on the right side, you can see where the site is located. We're located, St. Nicholas Park, of course, is located between St. Nicholas Terrace on the upper elevation and St. Nicholas Avenue on the lower elevation. And the white box is showing where that staircase is actually located. So it's a really important connector from an upper elevation to a lower elevation or vice versa, as you can see in that stretch, that width of St. Nicholas Park. Next slide. We also like to take a look at the fact if we have any flood risk in this area, coastal flood risk. And as you can well imagine, given our topographic elevation of this park, there's no flood risk whatsoever that we're concerned with. Either of the river is actually flooding and impacting our site, so not an issue. The next slide is showing the surrounding land use. So everything that's toned in green is open space, outdoor recreation. The light blue, of course, is the university to the west, public facilities, institutional. And you can see there's really a very nice mix of residential, multifamily residential, mixed use and such. But you can really see the size of the green space that St. Nicholas Park is and how important it is as a green space within this particular community. Next slide. Knowing that, we also take a look at what additional neighborhood parks may be in the nearby area. So probably closest to this is to the west, where we've got Jacob Schiff Playground and also Annunciation Playground. More typical playground sorts of projects that we're looking at. And those are about a 5-minute walk from our actual site. A little bit farther out, where there's a 10-minute walk, there's Alexander Hamilton Playground, Renaissance Playground, for example, and Jackie Robinson Park. Next slide. We're going to take a look at what the existing conditions are in our particular project area. So you can see at the top of this page is the street labeled St. Nicholas Terrace with its one-way directional arrow. And then down at the bottom of the page is St. Nicholas Avenue, as I was describing a few minutes ago. There are subway vents. There's the 135th Street subway station that you see located at that lower elevation next to St. Nicholas Avenue 2. And then the area that's sort of like right in the middle of the park is where the set of steps is located within forested green space, very, very vegetated, basically. The next slide allows us to zoom in a little bit closer to where our project limit line is actually going to be located. So you can see we're looking at in plan view here, the areas that are toned in that sort of bluish gray color are the actual steps themselves. There are 6 runs of steps. The lighter gray are the landings between the steps. And then on both sides of the steps, we are selectively showing existing trees that are immediately adjacent to the steps. Do realize that trees continue to the left and the right on this plan. It's a very vegetated area. And then the items that are shown in that kind of pinkish gray color are rock outcrops, as we tend to see in this area of the 5 boroughs. The next slide is going to illustrate our site analysis. And as landscape architects, we typically like to do a site analysis before we start working on a project and coming up with a design, even if it's just a reconstruction, such as this project. So as you can see here, we're actually indicating how many risers are included in each of those runs of steps, what their riser heights are. They're anywhere from 6 to 6.5 inches, which is fairly typical for a set of stairs. And then we're also taking a look at where those existing trees are located. But we also looked at the topography here too. And those areas that are toned in pink are areas of the adjacent topography that are somewhat pitching towards the steps themselves. So we've taken that into account into our design as well, which we'll look at in a few minutes. The next slide takes a look at the tree inventory, the existing conditions of the actual trees that are out there. This is something that our arborist has prepared and has indicated which tree types are actually out there, which trees are in poor condition and should be removed as part of this project, and which stumps are out there as well. I should mention that it's not just our arborist who comes up with these recommendations, but that's also vetted through the landscape construction unit at New York City Parks as well. So shown in the dark black X's are tree removals due to poor conditions, and then the open white X's are stump removals that we've got on the project. The next slide gives you a better idea of some of those existing conditions I was talking about at the start of the presentation this evening. There are a number of broken steps with large gaps within them. Some of the steps are bluestone, I should mention, and the landings between them are concrete. But a number of the bluestone steps are delaminating, which is just a fancy word for saying they're kind of peeling apart in layers and they're cracking. And then in photo 3, you can see that the edging or the walls, what we call cheek walls as landscape architects, are either broken or displaced, which are the edges of the steps that you can see in the photo right along in there. The next slide finishes up some existing conditions photos showing broken and chipped steps, for example. A lot of those images were taken this past winter, but then the last 2 photos that you see here were taken earlier this spring or early summer, where some of the adjacent plants are growing over the staircase, and there's actually some washout occurring from the adjacent slopes onto the steps themselves. The next slide is showing the schematic plan, and this is will be how we are looking to renovate these existing steps. We are looking to keep the same alignment that you can see right along in here, that slight curve, and we are looking to salvage as many of the bluestone steps as possible. Some may not be salvageable because of that delaminating occurring, but we think that there is a certain percentage that can be retained, and whatever is needed to make up the replacement will be new bluestone steps, the same material to match what is out there. We will also be doing new concrete landings between the bluestone steps. It will be colored or tinted concrete so it doesn't look brand white new, but will have a little bit of a tone to it and will blend very nicely with the bluestone steps. The other thing we're looking to do is new cheek walls on both sides of the steps, which will be 6-inch wide, so a little bit heftier than what's out there now, and they will be high enough above the adjacent grade so that we won't be seeing any washout from the adjacent slopes washing out onto the stairs themselves. The other item that we're adding as part of our schematic plan are handrails on both sides of the step. You know, codes were not in place when the staircase was built 70, 80, 90 years ago. In order to be code compliant, to achieve one of our goals, we need to include handrails, which we'll take a look at what we're proposing for those in a moment. The other element of this plan is the fact that we will be retaining 3 of the existing light poles on the left side of the plan. You can see those toned in the yellow color, and it's unclear to us if they're working right now, but we will make sure that they're working with new luminaires and new electrical wiring. But we're also adding 2 new lights on the right side of the plan, as you can see here. Those are toned in orange. So we'll be able to have this really nice, brightly illuminated set of stairs to add to safety and security throughout the park. The existing trees that you see on both sides of the walkway will remain in place. We'll be able to work around them. So other than the conditional tree removals or the stump removals, all trees of major caliper will be retained in the new design. Moving on to the next slide. Gives you a better idea of what these stairs actually look like. This is a section through just one portion of it. This is just showing 2 runs of the stairs, obviously. But we will be either resetting salvaged treads or doing new ones on new concrete footings, new concrete landings between them. The cheek wall is shown in the top of it is shown as the blue dashed line further beyond in this drawing, and then the handrail will be added here as well. So we're really looking to design this very robustly in order for it to withstand any of the elements and any of the use that is actually getting. The next slide gives you a sectional view through one of those landings. And those cheek walls that I was talking about, you can see that's the bluestone cheek wall and the 6-inch width for it and how it's pinned into the concrete footing below it. The handrail that will be on both sides of the set of steps. And we just added some people on there so you get an idea of what the scale of the staircase is actually like and what the handrail is actually looking like. The next slide gives you a clearer picture, I think, of what these bluestone treads will look like and some of the other elements. You can see the new ones in the middle photo there. Those were actually taken in another staircase project in St. Nicholas Park, done about 12, 13, 14 years ago. So they're holding up very well. The handrail that we're looking to use is colloquially known at New York City Parks as the Central Park handrail. Very simple, black in color, powder coated, so that its finish will be maintained for a very long time. Colored concrete for the landings. Landmarks gray is the color that we're looking to use. The bluestone cheek wall, and then the light poles and fixtures that will all match throughout the project for a total of 5 between the 3 existing and the 2 new. Next slide. Gives you some idea of the plantings that we're looking to locate on the slope on both sides of the staircase. We're looking to use oak leaf hydrangeas, little Henry sweet spires, and grow low fragrant sumacs. These are all native shrubs. They have root systems that will hold the slope as well, and they're very shade tolerant too, because we do have shady conditions to deal with because of the existing trees being maintained there. So they should do very well, and they'll very nicely, I think, define the edges of the staircase project too. The next slide brings us back to the schematic plan that we can refer to for additional questions or comments that people may have. But that pretty much wraps up what the intervention is planned for this staircase reconstruction. And we ask people for any questions or comments they may have right now.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
And question. My comment is that St. Nicholas Park has been a long-standing picturesque park in this neighborhood. So it has been kept, even though it has wear and tear due to weathering, it has always been a beautiful park. But also, St. Nicholas Park, we've been in this neighborhood extends all the way from 141st Street down to approximately 127th Street. Now, before we talk about the other parks in the area, there is an infestation of rats and rodents in that area, but also located to the left hand, if you're standing on St. Nicholas Avenue, to the left-hand side of 135th Street as you walk down is the playground. So we start with handball courts, then to basketball courts. There is also a children's playground that has been in use, that has not been in repair, and for the same amount of time that the existence of St. Nicholas Park has been there, and it requires that our children are safeguarded as you move these things that are going to cause rodents to come down for these 3 or 4 daycares that use that park in the daytime. So I'd like to know, with all that said, I'd like to know, what are you going to do for the playground area located between 134th Street and 133rd Street on St. Nicholas Avenue, where our very young toddler children and our teenagers play?
Okay.
Can I answer?
I'll defer to Steve on that. Thank you.
Well, the good news is that Councilmember Salam and Borough President Levine in the recently adopted budget have now given us sufficient funding to renovate the playground, and we're going to be hopefully in the fall kicking off the design process for that project. We'll be holding a community input meeting, and I'll be asking the community board to help us publicize that meeting, and I hope that you'll attend it in order to give us the benefit of your views on how we should upgrade that playground.
We've
So,
offered a resolution to that aspect and have been doing so for the last 3 years. It was my hopes that the repairs would be simultaneously done so that that the whole neighborhood community benefits at the same time. And
Sounds like
not
it's
slightly
coming.
for our children.
Sounds like it's coming.
Yeah.
we have the money to do the playground. We don't have money to redo the handball and the basketball courts, but we're going to start out by doing the playground proper.
Okay.
Let's take other questions so we hear from everyone.
Yeah, thank you for the thoughtful presentation. I know these stairs definitely need some help. One comment, I think we mentioned to you all, but yeah, the top of those stairs is pretty dark. I think a light pole fell or something like that near the dog run, so additional lighting up there, if y'all could consider it would be great. And then 2 questions, how long will the staircase be closed? And what do snow conditions look like on these stairs as well? Because right now it's like a death trap in the winter.
Well, to answer the question about how long the stairs will be closed, there is an anticipated construction period of 12 months, 1 year. Okay. And the second question I didn't quite understand.
In the winter,
Yeah.
the stairs are really treacherous. So
Yes.
what will be done to sort of minimize the hazardous sort of terrain during the winter?
Well, the most that we can do from a sort of a design point of view is to make sure that the treads of the steps, you know, where you place your foot, is slightly pitched to the front of the riser, so that whatever snow or rain or ice is falling upon the steps is very quickly draining off of the steps. And we do have drains at the bottom of the steps and then the top too. As far as making the stairs safer during the winter, I think the rest of it is a maintenance issue as far as clearing snow or ice or desalting or anything like that.
Alan, I would also add that you will be adding handrails as part of this project. So
Indeed.
then we'll make the staircase safer as well for people to transverse it.
That is correct.
One more question.
Well, mine and then Sarah Hannah.
Okay.
I guess I have a comment. As a person who recalls using these stairs in the late 70s, to be exact, when I was a student of music and art, which is at the top of the hill, I remember traversing through that park. I thought that there were stairs there or something had been done, but maybe my memory is cloudy. So my question is, this will be the first repair of those stairs you're saying in the last umpteenth decades?
I think that the stairs that we're looking at, we weren't able to find record documents, but I think that the stairs that we are looking at are original to the park and are probably circa 1930s or something like that. Yes.
Well, I guess then it's a blessing I'm still here.
Indeed.
Well, I believe that there's probably been patch repairs
Yes,
that have been done to the stairs over the years.
Yes.
This is the first time that they would have been completely reconstructed.
Well, kudos. I'm glad that that's being done.
Thank you.
We have a question from Karen Asner. Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just a quick observation or comment and then a question. Just want to say thank you so much. Deep appreciation to Steve, to Matt, and to Pashi. I mean, these conversations have been going on for a long time, and we just, on behalf of all the park users, really deeply appreciate your pursuing this funding and getting this project done. It's really important for the community, and we really appreciate it. The only question I had, a great presentation, and looks like you're Really had a great design here. The only question I had was in connection with the plantings, the tree removal, the new native planting, or the sort of eco beneficial plantings that you're proposing. There is really some monoculture of knotweed in that in that staircase area as well. And I
Mhm.
didn't hear you mention if you're going to remediate that or remove it, because it is continued to cause damage to those stairs. And I just wondered kind of where that is in your design plan.
As we get farther into our construction documentation for the project, I think what we will do is end up calling out um, a standard park specification called clear and grub, which will be removing that invasive Japanese knotweed and that sort of a thing in this area in order to get the new plantings in. Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my last question, just because it's a big deal to have trees removed, I wanted to make sure we were clear on the count. So if I understood the presentation, you're removing 2 trees that are in poor condition and 3 stumps?
That is correct.
Okay.
Be replaced. I was gonna say, they're not gonna be replaced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will there be a replacement of those trees?
Yeah, most likely, probably with understory or flowering trees, that sort of a thing.
Okay. Well, thank you for a really detailed and clear presentation. I usually have a hard time following these, and I want a copy of those slides because they really tell the story in a very descriptive and clear way. And thank you for all of the thought that went into the design.
That's great. Thank you for that compliment, and we
I-
appreciate the chance to present.
Yeah, I can send the presentation to the community board tomorrow.
Please do so. Any other questions from folks online? All right, if not, we're going to just keep moving with time.
Can I just make one other point?
Sure.
There is another staircase in this park that really needs attention as well. It's about 2 blocks to the south at about 134th Street.
Yes.
I believe it's been on the community board's budget priority list in the past. I really want to get funding for that staircase as well. It's been closed to the public for a long time, and I would hope that when you consider your budget request for the next for fiscal year 27, I would hope that you'll keep that staircase on your list as well.
Thank you for that. And that'll be next month's work. So thank you for putting that on our radar.
Spoken about. We've already discussed it. We'll do it.
We'll put the spotlight on it again. All right. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, thank you all. And
Thanks, everyone.
and if you're inclined to pass a resolution in support of our project, we certainly would appreciate it.
That sounds like a no-brainer for us. And so
It's been noted.
yeah, it's been noted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
All right.
everyone. Enjoy the evening.
Thank
All right. So we're gonna move on to our second. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna remind folks online to make sure you stay muted so we can get a nice clear sound and give our presenters our undivided attention. All right, so React was our second presentation. They actually had to cancel at the last minute, but they did send in a description of the canvassing project that they're working on. So I'm going to read that into our minutes. WEAC is planning to canvass select parks in Northern Manhattan on Saturday, September 13th from 1:15 to 3:15. They are an environmental justice organization, and they're working on a campaign called Our Parks, Our Backyards to engage Northern Manhattan residents on park issues and the importance of park funding. So they're canvassing select parks in Northern Manhattan, like I said, on Saturday, September 13th, from 1:15 to 3:15. Their goal is to mobilize volunteers to engage users in Northern Manhattan parks. We've just heard how often they get neglected. And so essentially just they're trying to get folks, they're trying to raise awareness of Northern Manhattan parks. particularly when it comes to climate change and parks investment. And we just heard the need for funding to continue these capital projects. So they need volunteers to engage Northern Manhattan Park users, to hand out park-related materials, talk to residents about signing park petitions and take photos. So if anyone is interested in volunteering, this is a great way to get into the community, engage and interface with community people. And I'll send out the details on how you can register, or at least get the word out to folks in your circle. Okay. All right, so if there aren't any other questions, we'll turn over to the Parks announcements section of our agenda. You can follow along on the agenda. We've got just a beautiful consortium of partners who come out really every month and give us updates and announcements of the activities and events they have going on. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. So we've got Leslie Wright from Riverbank State Park. Hi, Leslie, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for including state parks in this evening's meeting. We really value the opportunity. So Denny Farrell Riverbank State Park, we have a number of capital improvement projects going on. Our North Stair Tower, the good news is, since we last met, the stair tower itself is back open, ready for service. The cladding on the tower itself is somewhat delayed, but that does not prohibit safe use of the stair tower. So once again, upstairs, downstairs is connected. Our softball field renovation at the south end of the park continues. It's on track for completion by next spring. Our outdoor pool is closed as usual on Labor Day. That's our last day. And we take the opportunity every year to close the indoor pool for annual deep clean and maintenance for just a handful of weeks right at the beginning of September. So that is closed now too. We're at the transition period in all of our park programming. Course registration is open. We do it in phases. We have priority senior registration first, then open senior registration starting in the middle of the month, then aquatics, and then general registration. For all of this is for classes that begin in early October. Everything is posted on the park's website, and the course registration book, we're about an inch thick right now. So it's a lot of great stuff in all the different complexes around the park. In addition, we have a big list of events, lots and lots of music, lots of dance. This Sunday, we actually have a Nikki Williams event in honor and in recognition and in joy about Stevie Wonder. It's a sunset dance party with a big fancy name, Overjoy. Sky Takes Flight in Wonder, an Steve E. Wonder celebration. So that's Sunday at 4 o'clock till through sunset at 7. Too many events to list. I know that a lot of folks have announcements to make, so please go to the website. We've also shared all the flyers with the community board, so they should be posted. The last thing I will mention is that we do have our monthly Friends meeting, the second Saturday of every month. This time around, it falls on Saturday, the 13th of September. It's always 10:30 in the morning until noon. And it's in rehearsal room B. Love to see you all there. And once again, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Leslie. Any questions?
Question. Hi, Leslie. Victor Edwards here. How are you?
Good to see you, sir.
One comment and one question. One, I just want to thank you for the Sunday music. I said I attended one of the events there, and it was great. It was really good. A lot of community members came out. People I haven't seen in the park in quite some time came out and enjoyed it.
Right.
I've been asked several times about the outdoor theater, the lower theater below. What, if anything, is happening with that, or something in the future would happen to that?
Sure.
What would the response be from state parks?
Yep. So that's our amphitheater. And the amphitheater is closed for a variety of reasons. One, the elevator and stair tower that is the only access point to the amphitheater is in need of a complete renovation. It is not safe for use. The elevator doesn't work. The stairs need complete renovation. And if you go by there and look at the stair tower itself, the facade is very visibly falling off. We
Yes.
facade challenges park-wide, and we're addressing it complex by complex as funding becomes available. So that's access to the amphitheater. The amphitheater itself is frankly decrepit. There are no restrooms down there. So to realize the full potential of the amphitheater, we need the funding and the political will to completely rehabilitate the stair tower and elevator, completely rehabilitate the amphitheater, and make a sanitary connection to add restrooms down at that level. We do not currently have funding. It's one of the many, many items in our $300 million capital plan for the park. We just hope that we are able to open up some dollars in the coming state budget or through the Bond Act to take care of a lot of the needs at Riverbank.
Great. One other question. As far as registration for classes, is there any thought given to having it online?
We think about it constantly, but a lot of our seniors have zero interest in that. They've made it very clear that they prefer in-person registration. So, that's one thing, as well as some of the technological challenges. We've introduced a lot of innovations over the past couple of years. Riverbank is a human touch kind of place.
Oh, okay, I'll take that for what it is.
Fair enough. Good compromise.
Thank you.
We've got another question.
Question about the money, the amphitheater renovation. Is there an estimate on how much it will cost to provide all those elements? And for that old $200 million capital plan, is that plan available anywhere online? And how much money has been allocated currently to the park? And how has it been spent?
So I don't know where to begin with that. So it's a $300 million outline of capital need for the park, not 200. It's a much higher order of magnitude. Over the years, the park has gotten a lot of funding. All of the information is there are countless press releases whenever the governor or different elected officials or different grants are given. In my 11 years with state parks, we've been very successful in accessing city, state, and to a certain extent federal dollars to help fix things at the park. But it's a big complex, right? We need to replace the facades on every single one of the buildings. We need to put new roofs on every single one of the buildings. We need to put new HVAC systems in every single one of the complexes. The list just goes on and on and on. So I don't know that gives an overview of your question. Oh, you asked also about the amphitheater cost. The stair tower and elevator, including the facade, that is approximately a $10 million project. The amphitheater itself, I have not seen a recent estimate, so I can't answer that with any certainty. And we've never priced out what it will cost to bring in plumbing down there and restrooms, honestly, because we have so many other needs. Not to diminish the need of the amphitheater, but there's so many very basic needs: leaking roofs throughout the park, compromised facades throughout the park, bridge work that needs to be done. Those are taking more of the front seat, and the amphitheater is a little bit further down on the list.
So Leslie, we might invite you to do a presentation so we can unpack that question with a little more time. But thank you. We're going to move on and make sure we give a chance for all of our community partners to share a little bit. Thank you, Leslie. Mallory, we have you from Greenhouse and Community Gardens.
Yes, just wanted to point out learning gardens. So Leslie can always speak to the community gardens, but over here at the Greenhouse and Education Center, me and the team here steward the learning garden, which we just had a lovely night learning how to dry and process herbs in our early fall that we're seeming to be having. Also, just wanted to say thank you. It's so lovely being back after the summer, and just wanted to kind of shout out some of one summer highlight, which was that we welcomed 80 high schoolers and a group of 157 young people from the Riverbank State Park Summer Camp for over 200 young people who came for a stretch of 6 weeks. And just want to celebrate that they direct seeded, or they started their seeds, learned how to care for their herbs, learned recipes, cared for their herb each week, harvested and tended their herbs, and then took home. Each took home their own plant that they. So over 200 young people doing that this summer, which felt really wonderful. And just wanted to highlight that as a launching off point too. So even though summer seems to be closing, we're just going right into our fall programming. So our summer schedule runs from until September 22nd, but right on September 23rd, we'll be continuing our almost daily free public programs. I'll again, of course, leave the link. I think it's in the distribution list as well, and I'll be sure to send our fall postcard as that. All our classes, again, free, open to the public, drop in. Just want to highlight a few ones that if you want to get a taste of our summer season of grow before we go into our season of harvest. Tomorrow we have our art and agriculture class after our art in the garden class at 6 p.m. We're celebrating earth care, people care, and fair share to learn about art and permaculture principles with a little paper project. And on Saturday, so that's tomorrow, September 4th, 6 p.m. On Saturday, we continue our family pharmacy. The theme is seed keepers and story keepers. We're going to be learning some seed saving as well as telling stories of seeds. On Wednesdays, we just finished up, a really riveting session of learning to process and dry all the abundance of the garden. That's going to continue, and we're going to thinking about actually herbs for mutual aid on Wednesday, September 10th. That's 5:30 to 6:30. Again, that's just a taste of some of those free classes open to the public. There's no need to sign up, but you certainly can, which is on our Eventbrite or a more general listing on our website. I will leave that link below, but otherwise, happy to be back commenced in the fall. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over my notes. We are getting ready for the fall welcome back field trips and our Hort Greenhouse internship, which is for high school age students, slotted to begin again in October, mid to late October. We don't have a specific date for that just yet. We will launch it definitely for one, for the distribution list for you to be able to send out to high schoolers in your life, but also we'll announce it again in the early October meeting next month. But high schoolers in the meantime can send their letters of interest to programs@thehort.org. Again, I'll leave that in the chat as well.
Thank you, Mallory. Had a question about that high school internship. The $1 million question is always, is it paid? Wondering if there's a stipend connected.
Yes, so we are able to offer honorariums, and in the past that has been $100, thanks to our friends at Harlem Development Corporation. And we're still setting that number for this year, but there's definitely an honorarium.
Awesome.
And it's also counts towards, a lot of students decide to use it towards their mandated community service hours, and because it's a separate honorarium, we can do both.
Beautiful. And how many slots do you have? How many young people are you able to take?
25.
25. Okay. Thank you so much. Any other questions? All right, then we will thank you. Move on to Green Thumb. Ashley, are you here? with Ashley. All right, we'll come back around. We did National Park Service, which we've been waiting. Callie, are you here? We had questions for you, so we will make sure we will send them. All right. We've got Kelly Jordan from Riverside Park and West Harlem Piers.
Hi, this is Tapashi from New York City Parks. I don't see a representative from Riverside Park on, but Kelly has moved on to a position with the Central Park Conservancy.
Do we know who's taking her place? We don't.
Not yet.
Okay. Thank you for that update.
No problem.
So yeah, Riverside Park not here. Stephanie? So Karen, the floor is yours.
Karen with Friends of St. Nicholas had to leave early. She had a previous family engagement. She sent her apologies, but she said she'll provide a full update next month.
Beautiful. All right, so we'll give Morningside Park a chance. Friends of Morningside, Clyde. We're all slowly getting back into the swing of things. So Tapashi, the floor is yours.
It moved swiftly to me. Okay, well, first and foremost, let me put on my camera and say hello, everyone. Good to see you in virtually and in person at some of our summer events. First and foremost, I would like to introduce my new project development coordinator. Her name is Ashanique Rodriguez. She is on the call with us. Ashanique was with the Friends of the East River Esplanade. She was the executive director, so now she's finally with New York City Parks. So I will hand it over to Ashanique to say a few words.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashanique Rodriguez, and thank you for having me on the call today. This is my first community board meeting with this community board, so I'm very excited to be a part of this meeting, and I look forward to being in many other meetings coming up. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm sorry.
We can hear you.
Okay. Let me just turn my camera on. Sorry. So nice to meet you all. I'm Ashanique Rodriguez, the new PDC for Historic Harlem Parks. And this is my third week. I have been shadowing Matt and Tapashi. They have been great to work with. I'm very excited. And I look forward to working with you all.
And Ashanique will be helping with volunteer coordination and processing any special events permits that come to our office for the Historic Harlem Parks.
Tapashi, can you repeat what role Ashanique is filling? PDC stands for?
Project Development Coordinator.
Great, thank you. Well, welcome. Nice to have you part of the team, and look forward to hearing updates each month.
Yes, so Ashanique will also be sending out a monthly newsletter, which she sent out today. I have a few. Ashley from the community board has already shared it with everyone. But if you'd like to share your email address with us directly, you can feel free to put it in the chat or send it to either Ashanique or I. I can list my email in the chat. But we do have a few upcoming events. In Morningside Park, we started the jazz series back in May. It's the second Saturdays. I saw Veronica at one of them, so I'm glad to see any of the community board members in person, in flesh. So our last jazz event in Morningside will happen, and it's actually the final one of the season, will happen Saturday, September 13th from 5 to 6:30 across from the the waterfall. Come out and enjoy Dinaba Band. They're the performers. And then on Saturday, September 20th, the following Saturday, the Friends of Morningside Park will be hosting their annual Our Common Grounds Festival. That will take place from 12 to 6 p.m. at across from the waterfall as well, but there's a lot more activities. And I'm sure the Friends of Morningside Park will send the community board additional details on that event. In St. Nicholas Park for Saturday, September 13th, we are doing our decadal tree count. So this is our tree count has happened for the last 4 decades. And they're conducting trainings at this time. So the one for St. Nicholas is September 13th from 10 a.m. Starting at West 135th Street and St. Nicholas Avenue. And I'm hoping, and details will follow, to have a Hispanic Heritage celebration on September 20th from 3 to 6. The event will include music and dance from Aliobello. Upcoming, I know some people like to hear about other parks in the neighborhood. So Marcus Garvey, this Friday, we're having a Senegalese acrobatic group and poetry consultation. This will take place from 4 to 8 p.m. at the amphitheater. If you're not familiar, that's at West 122nd Street and Mount Morris Park West. So that's going to be, there's going to be two 30-minute acrobatic performance at 4 and 7 p.m. and poetic consultation is similar to like when you go to a doctor's office and a doctor prescribes you something. You'll meet an actor who you'll have a conversation with, and you might walk away with a poem or a mantra to help you relieve to help you address like mental health or other things. It's mainly just having a conversation with somebody. So that's poetic consultation. So that will be for the whole entire time, 4 to 7 p.m. And then the second acrobatic performance will be at 7 p.m. There will also be a acrobatic workshop for kids at 5 p.m. as part of that event. I have a few events at the Pelham Fritz Recreation Center. They're preparing for the mothership performance. The mothership performance, which will happen on September 20th out at the amphitheater. So there's summer performance intensive in preparation for mothership. They have September 6th and 17th, August 30th, September 6th and 13th. The classes varies, and it's on our parks website, so I can definitely share that in the chat, or if the email listserv serves everyone, you'll have the details there. But it's quite a number of practice classes in preparation for the mothership performance. And there also is a Celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with the Rec Center on Friday, September 19th. That's from 4 to 8 p.m. It's joined Pelham Fritz Recreation Center and Shape Up NYC in celebrating Hispanic heritage. They'll do a lot of different dancing. There'll be salsa, merengue, zamba, and dance fitness demos, and art stations for pixel art creations and canvas paintings. So feel free to join for any of those wonderful recreation center events. And at Jackie Robinson on Wednesday, September 17th, we'll have a Movies Under the Stars, Charlie Parker Festival screening at starting at 8 p.m. at the Band Shell.
What day is that?
That's Wednesday, September 17th.
And Jackie Robinson, right?
Jackie Robinson.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So just want to encourage our new members to not get overwhelmed with all of the chock full of events. Like these are really just to get you excited about a lot of the work that the parks are doing, but all of these dates are listed on their website, and youth also gets flyers for these. And so really it's listening with an ear of like which one speaks to you, that you can share again in your circle, but also to celebrate all the work that gets done in our historic parks. Thank you, Tapashi.
Tapashi, what time is that Charlie Parker Festival on the 17th? What time does that start?
So the
What
film
time?
starts after sunsets, so at 8 p.m.
Oh, okay. Good, good, good.
8 p.m. All right. All right.
Veronica, I'd like to jump in here. I usually go after Tapashi, but I didn't see myself on the agenda. I'm Tapashi's counterpart. I run the operation team and the 4 historic Harlem parks, as well as the rest of the parks in CB9 outside of our larger parks of Morningside, St. Nicholas, in CB9. Have some good news towards the end of this month, beginning of October. The Alexander Hamilton basketball court renovation will be complete. So I hope by the time we meet next month, that will be open, if not shortly after, for the public to use. So we're looking forward to that work wrapping up. They did some asphalt work a couple weeks ago that has to cure for about 30 days, and then they're able to put down the sports coating and install the new hoops to have that work finally completed. Right before the school season starts up, our Borough Cruise team was able to do about 3 or 4 weeks of work on the safety surface at Playground 125, which needed to be replaced pretty significantly. So that safety surface has all been completely replaced and is ready. And that school is the Playground 125 is adjacent to school. So now it's safe and new and ready for school opening tomorrow. We have some other events that are going on. So there's a bunch of Movie Under the Stars events. September 20th seems like it's going to be a busy day around the district. At Jacob Schiff Park, we're going to have a family fun day from 12 to 3. And then later on that evening, they're going to be showing the movie Soul, which will start at about sunset. So mid-September, you can be looking about a 7 o'clock, 7:15 for the movies to start showing. September 10th, just a little bit outside of the district, Martin Luther King Playground will be showing Pieces by Piece. On September 12th, at Frederick Douglass Playground, Top Gun Maverick will be shown, which is one of my favorite new movies that have come out in the last few years. Hopefully they crank up the bass for that one so we can hear all the planes, feel all the planes coming by. And then September 13th, at Samuel Seabury, they'll be showing Megamind. And then in Morningside Park on October 3rd, they'll be showing Wicked. So since that's coming up right as we'll be meeting again, wanted to make sure you guys are aware of that. We'll make sure that flyers get sent out to the community board so you guys can post an email and share all those great events going on with everyone.
So Matt, whoever you have in charge of selecting movies, keep them in that role. That's an incredible lineup.
Yeah.
Well
yes,
done.
we'll do. And just a quick shout out to all of our friends groups, Friends of Montefiore Square, Friends of St. Nicholas, Friends of Morningside, and Tapashi. They all did some great programming in our parks this summer. We had lots of free music across Harlem.
Yes.
Just a great bonus for the park. And we also, Savona has some great art exhibits across our parks right now. So please God and see those exhibits because those will be up until the end of October. Happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Any questions for Tapashi or Matt?
chock full of excitement.
You're doing a great job, Matt, and
And
twice. Thank you so
thank
much.
you. And I would add for questions for Riverside Park, the go-to right now is John Harold. Many of you know John Harold, so we do still have a representative for Riverside Park as they go through some staffing changes. He'll just have a little more on his plate.
And I will also add, as Matt mentioned, since we are entering September, the movie start time is most likely at 7, as that's when the sun sets.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so if there are no further questions, we're gonna move quickly into old business, and I think we're on track to possibly end on time. Thank you to all our community partners for all the great work and all of the amazing information that keeps us informed. Our job is to get that info out to the community, so hopefully this gives us lots to bring into our conversations with neighbors, friends, and just pride, right, in all of the great work that's happening in West Harlem.
Is you and Chen there?
That's right.
I was gonna ask that.
Ewan, are you with us? From West Harlem Historic District?
I don't see UN on the call here.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll get an update next month.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you. So the last section is really now after we've taken in presentations, we've heard from our community partners. I will say pause for a minute because that's a lot, right? And part of, I think community board's role is to humanize this work. We're not robots, right? I think the presentations are meant to give us a very pointed example of some of the work that's being done. The community announcements gives you just a sense of the vibrancy, right? Of all of the activities that are taking place. And then old business is really our job to sort of get our hands in on specific sort of monitoring pieces that we're charged with. And I'll highlight again that this committee's purview is that we work with local residents and policymakers to preserve the architectural riches of Morningside Heights, Manhattanville, and Hamilton Heights through landmark designation. We identify districts and individual buildings for landmark status. We monitor Hamilton Heights Historic District and Morningside Heights. And we partner up with City Landmark Preservation Commission and all related agencies. So that's part of what we do. So it's definitely the parks part, but then there's also the preserving our landmarks. So our old business is really reviewing the Landmarks Preservation Commission report. So we've got July in the attachments. And these are reports that come out every month. They tell you what permits have been applied, what permits have been issued, and they also highlight what violations exist. So this is a monthly report that we'll look at as a committee. We'll ask about August. That wasn't included, but we have July's. And I think there are extra copies on the table. But there are quite a few permits that have been issued, and that just puts these structures on our radar, right? So now we have to make sure that, the structures are being handled responsibly, right? We look at the ones that have been applied for, right? It tells you what's up and coming, and then pay specific attention to the violations. In July, we just have one, and that's 1028 Amsterdam Avenue. And the violation is an installation of an awning that's not compliant with the certificate of appropriateness. So just kind of going through this form as another tool that we use for us to sort of keep in mind of how we use this report to be the eyes and ears of the neighborhood. All right. So next month we can, bring up questions on how do we resolve violations and other ways to use this report proactively. All right, and then the last two pieces under old business and updates, and these are things that carried over from June. So part of our work is bridging last year's work with this year's work, also seeing sort of, you know, what gets forgotten and making sure it stays on our radar. So the second bullet is some individual landmark buildings that we sort of want to do some research around. And they're listed there. And part of how we use sort of this work is as we're doing our neighborhood walks, like figuring out which ones do you live close to, which are sort of in your daily commute around the neighborhood. Go take a look at them. And let's start doing some research on what are the concerns around the decay with these historic structures. So I'm putting these addresses on our radar to do some more research. All right, and then the last one is again a carryover from previous meetings, and it's just trying to get in touch with Robert Stern for an update on Morningside Heights Historic District, and specifically this McGeffert Hall, which is turned into a dorm. And so I can open the floor if there's updates or
I
information.
don't really, well, sort of an update. I don't know if working with the historic district, Laura Friedman, the late Laura Friedman, I don't know if you know that the street where she lives is going to be there's a renaming. And I don't know what time it is, but it's October 1st, I believe. So if anyone's interested in that, yeah.
Thank you for putting that out there, and we'll add that. It'll be before our next meeting, so now's the time
I
to.
think it'll be sometime during the day, because with the Morningside Heights Community Coalition, there's a plan to do a walk from the new building, 125th Street for Columbia and Broadway to, I believe it was 112th Street is the address in Riverside, to bring attention to all the particularly housing and such. So that'll probably be sometime during the day. I don't know the exact time. I don't think it's an evening event, but I believe it's the October 1st will be Nate Street naming.
Yeah, thank you for that. Sounds like an important one to mark.
Yes, the next one.
So it falls on the same day as our next committee meeting, October
So but I
1st.
mean, it's during the day.
It's during the day, so
Right.
it'll be
I don't think
before.
it'll conflict with the meeting time.
Yeah, I was saying we wouldn't have an opportunity to highlight and remind people, so this is the time to put that on your calendar. Support. Yeah. So questions on,
Question on page 4 of the Jews. What was the in relation to Edgecombe Avenue Garden Park? What were the things that they needed to comply with the Green Thumb licensing that says with the deadline of July 27th?
yeah, we have our liaison, we have.
You also read too from Ronnie, cause you can answer.
So in order to be a Green Thumbs garden, you have to have a certain number of hours that your space is available for the community to engage. You have to have a certain number of events. There's some other criteria that Ms. Caldwell can add. They were needing a board, you need bylaws, you need a structure, and you need real concrete engagement with the community in order to have a Green Thumb garden status. And so they were working on getting those pieces in place. And Ms. Caldwell was our designated liaison to assist them. Any updates on how they've unfolded?
And go back a little bit on that, but basically what happened because of our last meeting, they had satisfied the necessary requirements from Green Thumb. But now we no longer hearing from Green Thumb, who says that they would be able to instate or instate them under Green Thumb so that they may receive the supplies or the foliage that they would have. Somehow there's a confusion between the two, but I'm sure that between Green Thumb, the Department of Parks, who put a lock on that gate as well.
So Ms. Caldwell is referencing inviting those two partners, Green Thumb and Park Services, to answer these
I'd
questions.
to take a look at that. As a matter of fact, there's a lock that they put on the gate so that a lot of people think access is limited and the community needs to join together as opposed to pulling it apart.
So two separate issues.
I would love to be able to report to you with that. 100%. So I'll
Great.
circle back afterwards.
So the two of you would be a great connection.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was there a comment on?
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, so this is Matt Ginrich with Parks Operations. So I didn't catch what property you were talking about, but Ashley can't remember how you pronounce her last name. I will put her email in the chat. She's the representative for Green Thumb, which is a New York City Parks division. It's not separate from Parks. It's just a different division of Parks.
So Ash is under the New York City Department of Parks.
Green Thumb is a division of New York City Parks. Yes.
That was in question.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking you.
I've also been in communication with Alex recently, so there's a little bit of a challenge in that area. I'm extremely motivated to be of strategic support, so I will follow up with that.
We'll take you up. And Matt will.
I can get some other contacts for Green Thumb as well, other than Ashley. We can start an email chain offline with some contacts that could be helpful.
If I'm not mistaken, that first line of management would be Alex, her boss, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Matt? But we could follow up on that. No problem.
Yeah, I don't want to give out the wrong contacts. Let me do a little digging to make sure that I have the appropriate leadership in place still.
Wonderful.
This is Matt Cole. Well, I'll give you a call, Matt, and we can talk.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So I'll do one last call to see if there are any questions before we close. And then that gives us some time to mingle and sort of just, ask some questions and just head home if we're needing that.
I'm assuming this is being recorded live and this will be provided to all of us and AI is being used in it as well, or is that still evolving with?
So AI supports the writing of the minutes. The minutes will go out to you, not the recording, because that takes a lot of space up in your inbox. But yes, it's a collaboration.
Okay.
Yeah, but the minutes will be accessible.
The minutes will be, yeah.
Isn't there a cable network that also shows these meetings?
Yes.
Yes.
It's posted on a channel, on a YouTube channel.
Yeah. The CB web, a site, right?
We have a site. Yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna motion to adjourn the meeting.
I motion that we adjourn the meeting. Second.
Who's seconding that?
This gentleman.
All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, all of them need just like this.
But no missing community partners. We'll find out what happens.
The Thursday after Labor Day is pretty tough.
Yeah, okay.
It was well attended and very informative, considering it's right after Labor Day. So good job.
Quick turnaround.
It was, but you did good. Now you can end the recording.
Thank you, everyone.
I've seen it.
Good night, everyone.
Like that.
Yeah.
Now, next Sunday.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
All right, good night, everyone.
Have everybody